We're selling it!
I'm Chris Meyer. Join me and the Legendary Customs team as we take ordinary rides and craft them into legendary customs.
So what do we know on this beast?
Jeff was still working on the suspension stuff, that like ride height control or whatever.
Sure.
And then I put the gas tank in today and ran your fuel line, and then this carb kit showed up, so.
Sure.
Yeah.
Awesome. Cool.
Yeah, hopefully after the carb's rebuilt and the suspension's fixed, then
It will actually run.
drivable.
Right. Were you able to figure out the brake lines?
The brakes should work. We're still waiting on a tool to pull those rear hubs off though.
Oh. It's gonna be loud with all the holes in the exhaust.
Yeah.
Shit.
The exhaust is
Destroyed.
Green is our power feed down. These are the two signals to go up and down. So if I go power to there, it goes one way, goes the other way. So we're good there. Got the switch grounded to the frame, clean that off. Yep.
Well, there you have it. Jeff has totally cleaned up the motor.
Yep.
That was a greasy mess.
Yep.
The ground wire was shot, so clean that up, put that together.
Yep.
And it is now working by itself.
Yep.
Cleaned up the contacts, had to put in 2 brand new solenoids, just motor solenoids.
Yep.
And yeah, so it's down to the brand new old school switch not working. It's literally brand
Manufacturing date.
new. Yep. So new old stock,
Yeah.
not working.
I feel like I'm sneaking up on you. What are you doing?
Prepping some parts for paint.
For the Packard.
The Packard, yeah. These are the motor cover and some of the brackets from the torsion control system. I had to pull out and clean apart, clean up, make function.
Feeling good about it though, huh?
Yeah, it's functioning now. So I figured out you had to hold your breath and spin around backwards instead of forwards. It's
Well, why didn't you think about that right away?
all better.
Right? Thank goodness for a gentleman in Maryland, right?
Yes. Yep, Ross in Maryland, thank you, thank you, thank you.
Okay. Jeff is unwrapping what?
exhaust.
Exhaust. Believe it or not, 1955 Packard. You can order, as you see, a brand new exhaust system bent to factory specifications. And Jeff is putting that in. We can tell you this, or Jeff can tell you this. Getting to the actual exhaust manifolds are a bitch. And look what he found in here. Yeah, it ran really, really quiet. Maybe that was part of it.
Baffles instead of mufflers. Yeah.
Anyway, just doing awesome on that. That bad boy is gonna go in, and she should purr like a kitten. Okay, so the Legendary Custom team, this gentleman is extremely, extremely important. I found out something today. He's made of steel. So we have a burn number 1, a burn number 2,
2, 3, 4.
all the way through. You notice his skin isn't burned at all. Man of Steel. Superman in hiding.
Yeah, that's kind of weird, huh?
Yeah.
Yep, I think it just snapped.
Oh, we waited like 2 weeks for it too. Oh,
I made a decision on Friday. Zach and I talked about it. We're doing something totally 100% a surprise for Arlen. Now, we talked about this, but he didn't commit to it. We're doing it 100% free of charge. So the next 10 hours on this beast, the full day for Zach, is going to be at no charge. Call me crazy, but I think this would be a great vehicle to have down at God's country. Zach mentioned that. I was thinking in the back of my mind, but with what this is turning out for our paint restoration, I think this would be a good thing for us. It speaks volumes. So I would have bet any money, somebody would have bet me 50 bucks, that rust was coming from the back forward, and there is no way to get rid of that. I would have bet, yes, that is from the back coming forward. Check this out. Here we come. Oh my gosh, check that out. That is the paint restoration process that Zach has been so diligent in doing. But he's only been on this, what, how long?
yeah, it was like 30 seconds.
30 seconds.
Like just to do this area.
Just did that area. And now there's a lot of steps to go yet. But look at the reflection there. And the reflection there. Now, it's gonna get a lot better. But the paint restoration process that Zach is so good at just started, like he said, 30 seconds ago. What a result. So if you have a vehicle that's out there, we did what was that green one? It was a GTX, what year? 66, 67, 68, somewhere. We did a GTX for a gentleman. He brought it here. He goes, yeah, Chris, you're really too expensive. I said, give us a chance. Did the hood. He came in. He said, you're doing the whole car. His friend, he had it in his heated storage. His friend came that winter and said, when did you get your car painted? Now, this isn't going to be that result because this is really, really old paint, original 1955, but it's going to be so much better than it was. This is literally step 1 of a 3 and 4 step process. Normally we would do some color sanding first, but being this is original paint, we have no idea how much clear coat that we have. So yeah, it's gonna be awesome. A long ways to go, but it's already looking pretty awesome. All right, Zach went on lunch break. This is where he has gotten in about 5 hours. Now, I want to be very clear. What we are doing today is not our true paint correction process. This is nothing more than a professional Zack doing a buffing and polishing of this. So, if they decide to do a complete paint restoration, we'll detail that for you also. But what we are doing, what we would normally do is wet sand it with a 1000 grit sandpaper, then a 2500, and then a 3000 grit sandpaper before we do this cut and buff. And that cut and buff is normally 3 steps. We're only gonna do 2 on this. Again, we're doing this to surprise them and show them what we possibly could do to bring this back to life. This is just a small piece of that. Arlen and his bride wanted to keep this as original as possible, so we are honoring that, and we're gonna keep it as original as possible, just brighten it up. Anyway, let's take a look. Apologize for the air compressor in the back, but as you can see, that was looking pretty nasty. This is where I did the comparison before. It's all looking much better. This is another comparison, old, refurbished, old, refurbished. Again, it's going to come a long way after this if we do a true paint restoration. I want to show you something up here on the hood, or on the roof. I don't know if you can see it or not. See, it's called crazing. There's actually little cracks in the paint. That we can smooth out with our paint restoration, but it's never gonna go away. There's no way to fix that except really repaint it, and that's not what they want to do. But anyway, this was all rusty looking. It looks so much better. The hood looks a lot better, but nowhere near where it could be, you know, with the true paint restoration process. The trunk looks better also, but again, not as good as it could be. The really, in my opinion, the sides that didn't take, you know, it's been sitting in a museum, Elmer's, for a long time. The sides didn't take the use and abuse as much as the surfaces did. So that really came out better than we expected. But again, a true restoration process that we do, it would look a lot better. Anyway, so much more for Zack to do, but it's looking good so far, and I wanted to bring you up to date. That's about 5 hours. A true paint restoration process is anywhere from 20 to 60 hours.
From this to this. Smoky smoke. Burning off all the nasty.
All right, behind me is the 1955 Packard. Today we brought it up to temperature for the very first time. We brought it up to where it was warm several times, but this time we let it run long enough to be at full temperature on the gauge. That's around your 190, 200, somewhere in there. And we found out one thing. The smallest things. The radiator cap is too weak and it leaks. So we have a steaming mess right here. Antifreeze and all the good jazz everywhere. Going to get a new radiator cap right now. And then hopefully it'll cool down. Get it going again. Bring it up to temp with a new cap. And hopefully there'll be absolutely nothing wrong. New plug wires are in. He did that this morning. So piece by piece it's coming together. Power steering, hooked up that belt this morning. 0 leaks. All is good except for that cap. All right, we're gonna attempt this again. As many of you have seen, the first little tool we bought snapped right in half. Had a new tool made. A lot more material there. We hope it will not break.
Did the tool work? Looks like the tool worked. No?
Yeah, Chris was filming it this morning and yeah.
No go, huh?
No.
Dang. I figured with the piles of whatever underneath it, they came off.
Yeah, the tool didn't break, but
They didn't even budge, huh?
yeah, it's not, we were torching it and everything and
Oh God.
yeah, like red hot. And
Still nothing. Well, that kind of sucks, huh?
yeah.
Okay, 1955 Packard. Got good brake pedal, but 0 brakes whatsoever. So, what do? Let's take the front brake cylinders off. And, yeah, I don't know if you can see that, but they are just full of rust and corrosion. To actually get the pistons moving, it took that entire vise to get it up and going. So hydraulic pressure was not enough. Yeah, when you find stuff like that in there, you say, okay, time for a rebuild. However, instead of doing a rebuild, $25, go down to Napa, buy new ones. Now, one thing about Packard is they didn't want to create a new system. So a lot of the parts that are available in General Motors, the Buick, Pontiacs, Chevys back in the 50s, are the exact same parts they used in the Packard. So these are junk. Brand new ones are downstairs. Zach's putting them in. I wanted to figure out what shape they were in because the rear brakes we can't get to. Can't get those hubs to pop off, even with a lot of heat. So we're going to have to figure out a way to get that challenge done. But long and short, junk, brand new ones going in.
And you have to adjust it for the length of the
No, I just went through it.
All right, so how do we do this?
Yeah,
I'm like, is it running? And I had to feel it. Alright, so, how do we do this? Alright.
Sit on the bumper.
Just sit on the bumper. Alright, maybe just the two of us? Woo!
it's going. It's like an elevator. Still going? Oh geez.
Not going to be too high.
Oh, I heard it switch. And there it goes.
Unreal. 1955. Talk about ahead of its time. All electric. No air.
No air.
No hydraulics. Electric.
I gotta go for a ride.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Woo. Oh my God. Why does it drop so freaking
It
far?
does drop crazy far.
I'm gonna say it's you.
And there it goes.
What we did on Arlen and his wife's car is just a deep cutting and buffing. Now, what we did on these, because it's such a small part, this one we did a start of a paint restoration. This one we did what we did on the rest of the car, just a cut and buff. So, I don't know if you can see that on the camera, but huge difference. This one looks brighter. It's not as dull and dingy. It has has a much better shine. This one, it's still a lot better than what we started off with.
Still a lot of scratches and
But
stuff.
yes,
though,
you
and
still see the scratches. You still see the impurities in the surface of the paint.
It's even a different color almost.
Oh, it is. This is the
More yellow.
Yep. Because that has all the stains in the top. Yeah. So, I mean, just a paint restoration. Not even complete. Just the first step, and we do 3 steps. So much better than just a cut and buff. So I can't wait to show it to them so they can see. The whole thing is going to be a surprise anyway, because they have no idea we did this. So, surprise.
I didn't foresee this by any means. Just the shine of the roof, because I know that was, this is just amazing.
But Zack will tell you where it is now. Where do you believe it will go if we do our true paint restoration?
Oh yeah, it would be. I really would. A night day, I think.
Even from this.
Yeah, this car needed to get to this level to make it worthwhile to restore it.
First, I want to say thank you for joining us on this transformation. This was at Elmer's Auto Museum for many, many years. Parked, never moved. It was sold at Meekum Auto Auction to Deb and Arlen. They trusted us. They brought it here. Some very unusual things, as you saw in the videos on this vehicle. 1955, self-leveling suspension. Talk about ahead of its time. Not with air, not with hydraulics, but with an electrical motor. With Nate and I sitting in the trunk, it was almost 500 pounds, and you saw it level right out. Anyway, you saw Arlen's reaction. He had no idea that we were going to do a cut and buff on this. It looks amazing. Keep tuning in, because if he decides to do a paint restoration on this, the full-blown thing, we will show you a video on strictly paint restoration on its own. It is an investment. It is not inexpensive, so we'll see if he takes it and goes forward with that. Thank you for tuning in. We appreciate it. Please comment down below what you liked most about this 1955 Packard and what you found to be the most unusual thing about it. There were a couple weird quirks in it. If you have a vehicle sitting in your garage that you haven't gotten around to it and want to have it hit up, contact us through email, and we'll see if we can get you into the schedule. Thanks again. Appreciate it. We're out of here.